Picture this: a small, bustling village nestled somewhere in the heart of 1600s Europe. Life is simple, predictable. The blacksmith hammers at his anvil, children chase chickens in the cobblestone streets, and the smell of baking bread wafts from open windows. It's a scene of ordinary life. But then, one morning, something extraordinary happens: silence. An entire village, in a single night, has fallen into a deep, unbreakable sleep. It begins with one family, then another. Soon, house after house is filled with still, silent bodies. Men are found slumped over their tools, women beside their spinning wheels, children in their beds, all breathing, all with a faint pulse, but completely unresponsive. They are not in a coma as we understand it today. They are simply asleep. Panic spreads faster than any fire. Local doctors are summoned, but they are baffled. They prick the sleepers with needles, burn feathers under their noses, shout in their ears nothing. The villagers remain lost in their slumber. The local priest declares it the work of dark forces, leading frantic prayer sessions and exorcisms that yield no results. The stillness of the sleepers is immune to holy water and prayer alike. News of the sleeping village travels, carried by terrified merchants and messengers. It reaches the ears of kings and nobles. Intrigued and alarmed, they dispatch their finest investigators, physicians, and scholars. These men arrive, armed with the latest medical knowledge of the 17th century, which, by our standards, was limited. They examine the villagers, document their conditions, and take samples of the local water and food, searching for a poison or a contaminant. Their ledgers fill with strange observations. The sleepers show no signs of conventional illness. No fever, no rashes, no swelling. Their bodies seem perfectly preserved, their faces peaceful, as if they are merely in a deep, satisfying rest. But this is a rest from which no one can wake them. Theories fly. Is it a strange new plague? A collective madness? The result of a rare fungus growing on the local ripe, perhaps, causing a mass hallucinogenic state? Each theory is explored and, one by one, discarded. There is no poison, no visible sign of disease. As days turn into weeks, and weeks into months, the situation grows more desperate and bizarre. The village becomes a ghost town, inhabited by the sleeping and those who watch over them. Families from neighboring towns are brought in to care for the afflicted, to keep them clean, fed through rudimentary methods, and to keep the candles lit in their silent rooms. Imagine the eerie scene: entire households of people, alive but absent, a living museum of suspended animation. The investigators from the capital are stumped. Their detailed reports, sent back to the king, describe a phenomenon that defies all logic and science of the era. Royal decrees are issued, offering huge rewards for anyone who can solve the mystery, but no one can claim the prize. The sleeping village becomes a dark legend, a cautionary tale whispered in taverns across the continent. Then, the story takes an even stranger turn. Years pass. Some of the sleepers, after 5, 10, even 15 years of uninterrupted slumber, simply die. They pass away peacefully, their bodies finally succumbing to the long stillness. But others do not. A handful of them, decades later, begin to stir. One day, a young woman who fell asleep as a teenager suddenly opens her eyes. The world she awakens to is utterly foreign. Her friends are now middle-aged. Her parents, if they are still alive, are old and gray. The king who sent the investigators is long dead. But here is the most astonishing part: she hasn't aged a day. She is still the same teenager, her body perfectly preserved as it was on the night she fell asleep. Imagine the psychological shock. Waking up to find your entire world gone, replaced by a future you were never meant to see. These few who wake become living relics, anomalies that science and religion alike cannot explain. They are questioned endlessly. What did they see? What did they dream? But their answers are frustratingly simple. To them, it felt like they had just closed their eyes for a moment. They have no memory of the lost years, no visions of another world. It was just a long, dreamless sleep. Of course, not everyone is so lucky. The vast majority of the sleepers never wake up again. They remain in their suspended state until their bodies finally give out, one by one, over the course of half a century. The village itself eventually falls into ruin, its houses abandoned, its fields overgrown. The memory of what happened there fades from living history into the realm of folklore. So, what really happened in this forgotten village? Historical records confirm the event, documented in parish logs, royal court correspondence, and physicians' journals. These are not just tales, they are documented accounts of an inexplicable crisis. But the cause? That remains a complete and total mystery. Let's explore the possibilities with our modern understanding. Could it have been a mass poisoning? While investigators at the time found nothing, perhaps a subtle, slow-acting neurotoxin from a plant or fungus was the culprit. Something that didn't kill outright but induced a state of deep, prolonged unconsciousness, or maybe it was an unknown disease. A virus or bacterium with an incredibly unique effect on the human brain, something that could switch off consciousness without shutting down the body's basic functions, a pathogen that appeared once in history and then, for reasons we can't fathom, vanished forever. This is not unheard of. History is full of strange sicknesses like the English sweating sickness that appeared, ravaged populations, and then disappeared without a trace. Then there are the more outlandish theories. Was this an early, documented case of something we now call African trypanosomiasis, or sleeping sickness? While that disease is spread by the tsetse fly in Africa, is it possible a similar vector-borne illness existed in Europe for a brief period? The symptoms don't perfectly align, especially the lack of aging, but it's a compelling thought. And what about the lack of aging in those who woke up? This is the detail that pushes the story from a historical medical mystery into the realm of the truly paranormal. Biology doesn't just pause. For someone to not age over decades suggests that their metabolic processes must have slowed to a near-complete stop. How is that possible? This single fact challenges every scientific explanation we can come up with. This leaves us with questions that may never be answered. Was the village the site of some bizarre, localized atmospheric or geological event that affected the human nervous system? Was it a case of mass hysteria so powerful that it manifested physically in the entire population? Or do we dare to venture into even more speculative territory? The kind of territory that involves forces beyond our current comprehension. The story of the sleeping village is a chilling reminder that there are things about our own history and our own biology that we simply do not understand. It's a puzzle with missing pieces, a narrative that feels incomplete because the final chapter, the one with the explanation, was never written. It sits at the intersection of history, science, and unknown, a true account that reads like a dark fairy tale. What do you think happened? A forgotten plague? A masterful and detectable poisoning? Or something else entirely, something that our modern minds, for all our advancements, are still not equipped to understand? The silence of the sleepers echoes through the centuries, a permanent question mark in the annals of history. Thanks for joining us on this journey into one of history's strangest unsolved mysteries. If you enjoy exploring the unexplained, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into the shadows of the past. Let us know your best theory in the comments below, and until next time, stay curious.